Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Independence Day. Got my American Pride shirt on. Happy 4th of July. Lighting some incense out here. I have this citronella incense that I light out here while I'm out here later in the evening. I just heard some fireworks, which was interesting because you guys can see how light it is out here. But anyway, in honor of it being the 4th of July and it being perceived that it is controversial to be a proud American right now, I want to talk about being grateful. I talked about this yesterday a little bit in the video that I posted on YouTube, but I want to talk about being grateful and not taking things for granted today, because I'm proud to be an American, and that's because I recognize that I have so much to be grateful for when it comes to the fact that I was born truly into, when I was born, the greatest country in the world as far as having freedoms and working towards progress and working towards everybody being free and equal. You know, I'm in my 30s, so I was born in the late 80s. And, you know, even up until 2008 with Obama being elected president, we could see that things were moving in the right direction. And there's this thing where sometimes we have to recognize and be grateful for where we can see things going and stop taking for granted the progress. It's this thing we as human beings do where we want the end result to have already happened or be right now. We want it to be that way right now. And so we take for granted all those little steps along the way that are signs showing us that it is on the way. And I kind of think that's what happened with America, was where we got really, really ungrateful. We really started to take for granted the fact that, like, in comparison to certain other countries, oh man, hi, oh man, do we have so much to be grateful for. And I mean, even just like the way our Constitution is written, like, you know, it says men to be equal, but getting caught up even on that word men, like, I know it means human, you know it means human, like, yeah, we could get all semantical about it, and yeah, maybe we want to put an amendment in so that from now on everybody knows that anywhere it originally said men, we mean human when we mean human and not biological men specifically. But you know what I mean? It's just like we have so much to be grateful for, that getting hung up on some of these little things or being really upset about them. Like, yeah, sure, there are things that we want to make sure continue down the road of progress. But acknowledging and honoring where we are now, which is an amazing place. I mean, like I said, the fact that we have gone from recognizing that we had our first black president, and for 2 terms, that was a sign of progress. And the fact that we've thrown that all out the window really kind of blows my mind and shows me how much people take for granted what we have and what we had. And they're trying to destroy what we had, and I don't entirely know why. I'm going to note here that this is going to be considered a Taste of the Sanctuary video, because normally I try to keep my own personal values and perspectives out of my content when it comes to my mental health, mindset, spiritual videos. So whenever I do kind of talk from my own personal perspective, I like to make those Sanctuary of the Awakened videos or Taste of the Sanctuary videos to give people an idea of what a sanctuary video might be like. Being over in the Sanctuary of the Awakened. The Sanctuary of the Awakened is my VIP group of people who are awake, not woke. And I think that's a really interesting distinction that some of us have been making lately, because what we've noticed is that all of those people who say they're woke, those are all the people doing the fun stuff, like meditating and collecting crystals and saying things that they don't actually embody. And so when I talk about being awake and not woke, I'm really talking about this concept of really making sure that anything you say, you believe in and you've thought about. And so, it's one thing to say, I believe this. It's quite another to actually have thought about something for long enough for it to actually be incorporated in your belief system. So we can think something, we can have a good idea. That's something that me and my people call each other out on a regular basis. Do you actually believe it? Do you actually know it? I was just called out on that the other day, where I was like, I know this is true. And I said it in a moment of passion. And the person I was talking to was like, do you know it? And I was like, no, but I have a really good idea. You're right. I don't know it to be true, but I have a really good idea. And it's important. It's really important to start thinking that way, to start breaking things down, because it's so easy to get on this train of and getting swept up in the excitement of all these different movements that drag people one way one day and the next another. And I think it's really important, going along the lines of being grateful and not taking things for granted, to actually make sure that anyone and anything that you follow or contribute to or take advice from actually believes what they say. And how can you tell if someone or something believes in what it says? Well, our beliefs are expressed through our actions, because when we actually believe something, we don't have to be reminded of it. It becomes an autopilot that our actions are expressed through. So that's a lot of why the amazing saying of, it's not about what you say, it's about what your actions show us, that's an important one that we all need to keep in mind, because someone might say, oh, I believe in this, I believe in that, but then you can see that what they do with the money that they're given actually doesn't demonstrate that, for instance. And so in this theme of not taking things for granted, just taking the time to research a little bit, like, where does this actually go? What are they actually doing? I hear they say it. I hear they say that that's what they believe. I see it. But is that belief actually demonstrated through their actions? Because if they actually believe it, then their actions will show that. So don't take it for granted. Take the time to do your own research. I mean, that's become a phrase as of late, but it's actually really important. As I say, anything that's become cliche has become cliche and a stereotype. usually for a reason, especially when it comes to things in, whether it's conspiracy realities, as I call it. That's another thing that I talk about when it comes to the Sanctuary of the Awakened. I'm really big on what I call conspiracy realities, not conspiracy theories. What can we prove? What can we prove? What is proven? What has facts? What has evidence, physical evidence, not just hearsay. You know, another great example of not taking for granted the access to information we have. You know, we are living in this most amazing time on Earth, where we have access to all this different information, all these different channels of information, all of these different people. We know more than we ever have. So there's no excuse for not taking the time to figure out what all the perspectives are, because they're out there. There's literally an app that was made in the last several months or so that helps you figure out, based on this left versus right ideology, if you're getting a balanced diet of news on social media, because so many people are getting bombarded with, you know, it used to be if we wanted news media, we would go to their websites or just the TV and turn on their channel. But now that's all on social media. So they literally have apps now that help you figure out whether or not you're getting a balanced diet of perspectives when it comes to your news media from social media. And I thought that was really cool, because what I like to say is you can't have informed consent if you don't have all the information. And that includes all the perspectives, or all the information. Not just what they want you to hear, but all the information. And so, yeah, it just, when it comes to making sure that you're living with gratitude, not taking for granted all that life has to offer, all that, especially me living in America, seeing so many Americans take America for granted when there are much, much worse places to live. Let me tell you, I've been to some of them. We have access to so much. At least since I was born, had all of our inalienable rights, because they are inalienable, so they can never really be taken away from us, but unhindered. And so just taking the time to look around and recognize, I have so much to be grateful for. It's so easy to get caught up and swept up in what you consider the bad things. But rather than getting swept up in the things that you think are bad, take the time to get swept up in the things that you have to be grateful for. And that can be as simple as recognizing that I woke up today, I'm breathing, my heart is beating, I have another day. Because every day, every day, you have an opportunity to start fresh. But the only way you're going to see change is by making new choices. You're not going to see change by doing the same thing over and over again. That's why they call it the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You've got to do different things if you're If you want to see different results, you've got to do different things. And one of those things is starting to recognize what you have to be grateful for. This pity party that has become popular blows my mind, because we have so much to be grateful for, so much to be grateful for, that the fact that it has become cool to, it has become popular to be a sob story, to be a trauma story, to be whatever it may be, and I get the idea of uplifting people who went from bad and made their lives better. I get that. But that's not necessarily what's happening. There are people who are being uplifted without that transition from the bad to the good. There are people who are being uplifted without that transition to good. And that's what blows my mind, is that it's one thing to celebrate somebody who's made something of themselves. It's one thing to celebrate somebody who has triumphed. And it's one thing to celebrate someone who is working on that. But to celebrate people who sit around and go, oh, woe is me, life is so bad. I live in America, I have access to all these things, and life is so bad. I can't get down. I can't get down with that, because I can't get down with that, because I know what it's like. And I know how amazing life is, and I know what life has to offer. I especially know what America has to offer, and it's amazing. So let's all take this opportunity to, the next time we want to go, oh, woe is me, this thing is so bad, instead be like, oh, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to find something to be grateful for, rather than focus on this thing we think is bad. Let's all take this opportunity. I'm grateful for the fact that I can just sit out here in my backyard and talk to you guys. Thank you, everybody who's joined me for this live. I am grateful for the opportunity to live my purpose. I don't know what I would literally die if I couldn't live my purpose, I think. I would be very sad, and I remember what it was like to not be living out my purpose, and it was very, very uncomfortable. So I am grateful. I am grateful every day that no matter how much work it takes, because it doesn't happen overnight. Anyone who tells you it happens overnight, they're working off of very, very small statistics. For most people, it doesn't happen every night. For most people, it doesn't happen overnight. And, that's okay. That's okay. Because all of that work that it takes to get there is part of that journey that helps you prepare for being there. All of that effort that it takes to get you there is what you need to prepare yourself for being there. So be grateful for all that it takes to get you there, because you're going to need it once you get there. All right, guys, it's time for me to make dinner. I just wanted to get that out there. Be grateful. Be grateful, be grateful, be grateful. Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Proud to be an American, because I was born into the greatest country in the world. And I am so grateful for everything I have. And I am so grateful for the opportunities that I have moving forward. Never going to take that for granted. If you enjoyed this video, come check out my Sanctuary of the Awakened. We have an Instagram update page, which is Say It Like You Mean It 3223. I will link that in the description wherever I can. And then we have the official Sanctuary of the Awakened, which is a tier of Patreon, which gives you access to everything else Patreon has to offer and the Sanctuary content, which includes videos, YouTube suggestions, all the journal exercises, meditations, all the good stuff. So yeah. May the energy you serve you well. Be brave, stay sane, stay curious, and be kind to each other. And check out the links in the description wherever this video is posted, wherever you can find them. Let's keep making our way through.